Anytime you should need individual help outside of my regular classroom hours, you should immediately contact me either face-to-face, by email, or a parent by phone and arrange a day and a time for help. I'm here to help every student succeed, so please contact me with concerns or questions right away. Appointments times will always be conducted during ASAP hours, 7 a.m. to 7:50 or 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Check with me for the days that I will be available as these change weekly. I'm going to be walking you through Google Classroom here in just a little bit. I'm sure most of you are used to it and have seen it, but I use it on a daily basis. So you will be responsible for checking that daily. If you change classroom hours, change your class code. Your code for the class that you have me are listed on your syllabus. Make sure that you read in your packet the item that says what work will we be doing. Think of this as your classroom social page. It includes everything we're doing in class, as well as comment boards on topics and reminders of tests and upcoming events. It is also where your daily work assignments are usually posted. There is a video on my YouTube channel that explains what it is and how to use it, but I'm going to give a brief tutorial here. Here's an example of one of my classes that I have, Earth Science, second hour, and the newest posts are always on the top, but you can come down here to the different topics and you can click on those and go straight to the different things that are available. So if I've scheduled a Google Classroom assignment, instead of scrolling through everything, you can go straight to Google Classroom. If it's something about science fair, you can click that, go straight to the science fair. If you were absent today and you wanted to know what we did today, I put everything up there. And I'll show you this. I listed here, make it bigger. So the students who were gone, even though they were gone, they can still see what we went over, and I've given them the answers to the questions for their study guides. And then this one here shows you a week at a glance what all that we did, and you can see I'm constantly attaching information and communicating with you in every possible way I can. If you remember earlier in the other video, I told you, hey, you're going to earn workday points, 5 points a day. So it's not just showing up. You have to show up prepared. You have to show up and be working the entire hour and be giving me quality work. And so some things that you'll hear that are part of that workday grade are reading, discovery, debate and projects, and study guide. So let's talk about reading a little bit. You will be assigned a section in your textbook. You will read all the parts, that's pictures, captions, all the data tables. Next, you will answer questions that have been designed to show proficiency and understanding of the topics you just read. During our class hour, I will be communicating with you using my computer. I will be able to see in real time what you are typing. In turn, you can see me typing on your paper with comments, leading questions, and hints as to what you're doing well and where you need to continue to do more work. You will really appreciate this level of coaching from me. I know that my students this year hated it at the beginning of the year. I would even say to the middle of the year. But the survey that I gave, 100%, can't make up that number, 100% of the students liked the Google Classroom assignments. They felt that they got more out of it than anything else we did all year long. So this is going to become a cornerstone. Expect 2 to 3 Google Classroom assignments a week. And so this is what would come up. It says GC 1.2, read the section first, so you're doing this all in class. This is not homework. Before you begin answering questions, due at the end of the hour. So what happens is you click this after you've read the section, and the section's a few pages, and it has a place for you to put in your name. So you would type in your name, type in my name, and you have to put your hour. Okay, because I print these off. So if I print it off and it has no name, no hour, not only do I not know who it belongs to, but it's typed. So now you can't pick out using your handwriting. Okay, so that's a problem. So number 1 says, what is the main idea of the section? You can put the main idea is, and then you would continue to fill that out. What are the essential questions? Well, the essential question is this one. I'm just going to type. Okay, this one. Just going to type. This one. Again, I'm typing. So you're doing this the whole entire time. You're answering all of these questions. And when you're done answering question, there's a button right here that says turn in. That's the exact same thing, clicking the button that says turn in, as handing in your work when you come in the next day. If you do not click the turn in button, it is not considered turned in and it's considered late. So make sure you do that. I help you the first couple of times we do this assignment, so don't worry, I'll ease you into it. So as you can see, for this second assignment, that this was only the second thing I had done in the classroom. This is, again, not homework. Out of 28 people, 20 of them turned it in and 8 people did not. So see my face here? You'll be able to see your face here or whatever picture you used for your home screen. Right next to it, whenever I am looking at your page and watching you in real time, you'll see my face up there. That's how you know. So it's a way for me to be able to see, like Big Brother's watching, right? So I can see what you're doing, how long your cursor has sat there and blinked. If it's sitting there for quite a long time, since you've already read the section, then I know that you're struggling or something else is amiss. And that's when I'm going to come and ask you, do you need more help? Are you struggling and you just don't feel comfortable asking a question? So be aware that I can see what you're typing while you're typing it, and don't forget to put your name and your hour. So that's one of the things I use Google Classroom for. Sometimes before we read or learn anything about a topic, we explore through a lab model. This is where we discover what a topic is all about through the use of 2 to 5 minute stations, and I call this station labs. Something else I use in the classroom quite a bit are debates and projects. You learn the art of questioning through the eyes and mind of a scientist. Everything about science can be debatable, but by using only empirical evidence and credible sources can we discover the truth versus pseudoscience. Credible sources versus opinions is something our newest generation struggles to understand the difference between. By the end of this class, you will have a deeper grasp on fact versus fiction, how to uncover the truth, and how to form opinions and work alongside others using engineering practices and scientific reasoning. Study guides. Traditionally, you're given a guide right before a test or no guide at all. Because it is my belief the study guide is an important learning and comprehension tool, students will receive this at the beginning of each chapter. You will use your book as well as peer review to unlock mysteries of science through critical thinking skills. This is an important skill to have for test taking and working in laboratory situations. One of the nice things about my classroom is on my whiteboard, I have the days and month of the week. I have everything biology is doing and everything physical science is doing. I fill it out on a Friday evening before I go home, and it's up there the entire week. Now, depending on what's happening, if students aren't grasping concepts as quick as I thought, or they're grasping them quicker, or if we had something happening at the school that required us to be out of the classroom, that's going to change, and I don't update that board. That board is set in stone for a week. So if you want updated version, make sure you're checking Google Classroom every single day. Science fair is mandatory. You will do a science fair project. You do not have to attend the MAC science fair or the science fair we have at school. But every person in my classroom this year will complete a science fair project. It is worth quite a few points. It will be worth more than any test points that you can get first semester. I highly advise you put the work in at the beginning and you don't plagiarize. That's most people's mistake. So I've covered what will you learn. The second biggest question, how am I going to get graded? So you get graded by this: tests, quizzes, mandatory projects, labs, and your work day. Okay? So tests are broken up by sections versus chapters. Each chapter has 3 to 4 sections. Typically, your questions are 5 questions per test. That's it. The end of each chapter, there will be an essay test question. Each section test is worth 100 points and is graded on a curve. And as you can see, this is how it's graded. If you miss none, you get 100. If you miss 1, you get a 90. But in real world, you would get an 80. If you miss 2 questions, you get an 80. But in the real world, you should have earned a 60. In my class, if you miss 3 questions, you still get a 70%. Although you should have received a 40. If you miss 4, you get a 60%. It would have been a 20 anywhere else. If you miss every single question, then you will get a 50%. Everywhere else, that would have been a 0. I find most people don't complain about how I grade the tests because it is on such a nice curve for you. There are many, many quizzes that will support our current topics being learned and reviewed. They're 5-point per quiz. They cannot be made back up. Typically, they're open note, but not all of them are. Labs are typically graded by a rubric, a key, your lab write-up, and how well you did your lab work, meaning behavior, following directions, etc. A quick note about your 5 points daily for your workday. It's earned from being in the class. Attendance and working during the class hour is expected. That's study guides, Google Classroom assignments, test reviews, other daily activities, labs, coming prepared and being ready to work, having your notes completed, following classroom and flipped classroom expectations. So a couple of notes here. A 0 here and there for this section of your grade will not impact your grade. Chronic absenteeism, however, will affect your grade. You miss important information about the topics being taught, explored, and practiced. I do not exempt anybody from the daily 5-point workday grade. The only people who are exempted from the 5-point daily grade are students who have been placed on homebound teaching by the district. Video lectures are where you take your notes. They are 5 to 10 minutes in length. You watch them twice. The first time you're just watching them to watch them. The second time you're watching them to fill in the blanks. These are also available, as I stated before, on DVD or Jump Drive. The biggest misconception students have are the notes are the lecture. There's a difference between notes and lectures. Lectures and all the things that we do in class is me teaching you. The notes are not me teaching you. The notes are simply the foundation of that section and what it's about, giving you key words, how those words are used in a sentence, what their definition is, how they correlate with other terms that you've learned in the past or other terms in that section. So it's really a bullet point, major foundation, the blocks, if you will, that we're going to build everything else on. And that's why notes are so important, and I require them to be completed before you come into class that day to work with us. Notes are important. So again, notes are not supposed to be for learning or for teaching you anything other than this is what the section is about. These are the important major goals. What are the minor things now that support these major goals? And that's what we do in the classroom. So in closing, do yourself a favor. You've been looking at this for a while. There was a point to that. Learn what these abbreviations mean. Google Classroom, Study Guide, Homework. And you can have healthy snacks and water in my classroom. You do not have to ask. You may bring them in. The only time I've banned them is when people have put liquids in my trash can or they're not leaving my classroom nice and neat. Final point, on the front of your packet, you have your first homework assignment. That is to print your name, sign it. Have your parent print their name, sign it. And you must turn it back into me. The directions are on there. Have a great day.